how to find decision makers. I just had literally about 20 minutes ago a deal come to me. RICS valuation 15 million, just shy of 15 million. It has come at a 10% discount. And it has planning permission to build 6 more flats near Old Street Station. Okay. And it is a direct to vendor, landlord assisted sale. Okay. I've been told so far, I'm yet to do due diligence, that there is about 5 million in profits. And remember, because it's a landlord assisted sale, I need absolutely no money to buy this property. All the money that I need is the cash flow. Because remember, when you raise debt, you need cash flow upfront, which the lenders won't give you. So on a deal like this, you need about 300,000 pound as just cash flow flowing money. Okay. And this is this is a 35 million GDV project altogether. But because there's 18 residential units already built, 9 of them need a refurb, and the commercial unit downstairs needs a refurb, plus it needs building 6 more flats at the top. Okay. There is profits worth about 5 million. Okay. Why am I sharing this with you? Okay. I'm doing due diligence on this deal as we speak. Okay. But the reason I'm sharing this with you is because this has come to me direct to vendor. How did I get to this decision maker? That's the point I'm trying to make. Okay. Everything that I'm sharing with you, I've shared this in previous sessions. There's almost nothing new, at least for this subject. The next subject, there is lots of new stuff. But on this one, there's nothing new. When I started PEN, and here is the kicker for you, okay? Even when I was sitting in the toilet, I was networking. Okay? Irrespective of what I was doing, I was always networking. That means I would go and join Facebook groups and LinkedIn groups, and I would just look at what someone has written and try and comment and try and help where someone is asking for help. Raise your hand if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Remember, my strength was in numbers and finance, so I was helping a lot of people in that space. Okay. And I kept doing that. I used to do 2 hours a day on average networking online, and sometimes even a full day. Okay, so like straight 7-8 hours, I would just go and do network. Okay. I created my own Facebook groups. I created my own LinkedIn groups. I created our own WhatsApp community, and then started creating the database, started a website. That's a very, very good website to attract people. Okay, you can go on the website, you can see investors, agents, and other property professionals registered. All of this was getting done simultaneously. Now, I started this in late 2017, so let's not count 2017, more like 2018. So from 18 till now, it's been what, 3, 4, about 7 years, a little over 7 years. Look at the compounding effect of me sitting in my space and attracting deals. Okay. But remember, I started this on my own, and then I started hiring virtual assistants now that do it for me. Okay. So when you look at my profiles now, you can go on my LinkedIn profile, you can go on my Facebook profile, you can go on any of the social profiles. There is someone sitting there doing full-time networking. There's one dedicated person on a full-time salary doing networking for PEN. Okay. So when you get a message from me on any of the social portals, it's not me, it's a team member who's sending messages. And sometimes they may not even know that you are a part of the internal team. Okay. Point I'm trying to make for you is, for you to get to decision makers, there is what you call the push and the pull. The push is when you are going out and networking with people, okay, either online or offline. Online is your Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, your own email database, okay, and your contacts list. remember to create your own contacts list. And your offline is taking your cards and your leaflets and your, your letters and digging into your spreadsheet and then connecting with those landlords. That is a push. And then the pull factor is over a period of time when people get to know you. Okay, so imagine you do this networking bit for, let's say, 2 or 3 years, and then in your local region, now everyone knows you, who you are, what you do, and then you start to create the pull effect where people come to you with deals rather than you going and finding deals. Raise your hand if you know what I'm saying. Okay, unless you do not go out, knock on the cold doors, either online or offline, you're not going to create the pull effect. I'll repeat this. Unless you do not go and knock cold doors, online and offline, you're not going to create the pull effect. Okay? It's very, very simple. Not easy, but simple. Okay? Like I said, I can go on my Facebook profile, and there my profile is a part of 800 plus UK property groups. So the team is consistently pushing out content, which you can see and go and observe yourself. Okay, my strategy is more motivational, inspirational content and knowledgeable content. Other people do funny stuff. Everyone has their own way of doing things. You can choose your own way. Okay, remember, social media is a party. Okay, you don't want to be too boring. Sometimes I can be a little on the boring side. Okay, but you don't necessarily want to be boring. You want to be funny. You want to create content that really attracts people. Okay, marketing is all about attraction. So to give you an indication, in my phone, I have 11,000 contacts. In the email database, we've got, I think, roughly about 15,000, if I can remember correctly, between the email database and the PEN database. Okay, because there's an admin portal on the PEN website. When someone gets registered on the PEN website, I get an email, and then I send that person a WhatsApp message, save their number, and then say, tell me about yourself. Okay. On the Facebook, we have multiple groups, but there's about 35,000 people, maybe a little more. Okay. And on LinkedIn, I think there's about 1,000 people in our groups. Okay. But even on LinkedIn, we are a part of the lots of UK property groups where the content gets published. Okay. And there is a person dedicated to publishing content. So there's one person now dedicated to doing full-time marketing, and there's another person doing content at full-time. Okay. Now remember, I started just on my own. I literally didn't have any help initially. Okay. So that's your pull and push strategy when it comes to attracting direct to vendor business. Okay. Getting to the decision makers directly. Okay. Now you might ask me, okay, well, I'm looking at your sheet. How the hell do I find if the person is hidden behind 20 walls? Okay. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can't. Okay. While other times, when you go on a limited company, remember, any development project anyone in this country is going to do is always going to be under a limited company. They're never going to do it under a personal name. Okay. No one ever does. Okay. Anyone who does, they're just a newbie. Okay. So it's always under a limited company. You'll always find directors of the company. Okay. Like I said, sometimes decision makers are hidden behind 20 walls, and you're never going to get to those guys. Well, when I say never, it's not never. It's more like it's a lot more difficult. Okay. But at the same time, you don't have to invest a lot of time, and I'm going to come to that part in the second session, if you can't find the person after 10 minutes of research. Okay, if you can't find the person 10 minutes after the research, move on. Okay, do not spend any more time. It's not worth it. Okay, 10 minutes, you go and find that person, you have the proprietor's address, go and knock or write a letter. Okay. I've also managed to find our direct to vendor letter formats. They are in my inbox. Ask me tomorrow and I'll share them with everyone in the group. Okay. So there are different letter formats that you can follow to follow up with the landlords. Okay. And at every different stages, right? So you've got the one which is first when you approach the landlord, second is more like 4 weeks later, 8 weeks later, 16 weeks later, and so on and so forth. There's a whole bunch of letters that I have in my inbox. Okay. Remember, everything that I've just shared is dependent on the value you would bring for someone. No one is going to connect with you if you can't bring value. Okay. So imagine I go on Facebook and I go, remember, there's a tab which allows you to see posts of only the groups that you are a part of. Okay. You can go and check this. This is easy stuff. Okay. So you don't necessarily see your personal feed. You just see the feed of the groups that you're a part of. And then you go there and then keep scrolling down till you get to a point where you see someone else asking for help. Now, one of my strong hooks is when someone posts a deal, I go and write down, upload your properties on PEN and have investors call you directly for free. Okay. That's a very strong hook. Okay. You can create that for yourself. Be my guest. Okay. At the same time, when someone's asking for help, I need help with funding, or I need help understanding this deal, or I'm going through this challenge and I need help with that, I'd always try and answer that and then ask them at the back of that to join the WhatsApp community. First step you need to take to help them, and then they decide to join your community or not. Okay. My writing always is, feel free to join our WhatsApp community here. Okay. If you observe the WhatsApp community, there's the architects, there's the, the mega deals, there's the, in fact, I even had one for legals, which I changed the name of because I couldn't deal with solicitors anymore. But we have all sorts of groups with different challenges people find. Finance, one of the main ones. And then people, when they join, you're then nurturing those relationships. Okay. And then remember, I monetize those leads based on finance as well. Okay. So you need to create your own, what they call in marketing, the stack. Okay. So you need to work on your own stack. Sit down, write down what is the stack that you can build to attract people and then be able to nurture those relationships. Remember, these are the same people who eventually become landlords or are already landlords, and then you'll be doing business with them either right away or in future. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. So if I was to tell you, go and do this right now, show me how to do it, can you do it? I'm going to ask each person.
Jack?
You can do this?
Jack? Okay.
Yes, Grace.
So are you advising us that, advising us that we can create our own,
yes,
say WhatsApp community?
Yes.
Okay.
You can create your own WhatsApp community. I've decided not to create any more groups for anyone. We just deal with our own. You want to create your own WhatsApp community, please. Not you want to. You must create your own WhatsApp community. You must create your own Facebook community. You must create your own LinkedIn community. You must create your own email database. I use Zoho if you need to know which one I use. And you must do that, because if you don't do it, okay, you would look back 5 years later and you'd still be struggling to attract direct to vendor leads. Even at that time, it will be a push rather than a pull. Raise your hand if you know what I'm saying.
So Jack?
Yes, I'm listening.
In that case, would you advise, at what stage would you advise a virtual assistant? Because like you explained now, you have virtual assistants for practically everything.
Yes.
We don't have everything yet. We haven't gotten to your stage. At what stage would you advise a virtual assistant?
Okay, good question. Okay, here is how my journey was, and then you can work out what can your journey be like. Okay, remember, I came to this country with nothing. Okay, I've had virtual assistants since 2006. So it's almost been 19 years I've had virtual assistants. I hired a virtual assistant even when I could not afford him. Okay, it was a struggle initially to pay a virtual assistant. 2006, I'm talking about. Okay, now I'm not saying to you go and hire a virtual assistant when you can't even pay the guy, okay, or the girl. The way I started when I started PEN, I would, like I said, go do average hours of networking a day was 2 hours a day. So I do 2 hours a day, straight networking, done and dusted. There was no ifs, no buts. 2 hours a day was dedicated to networking. Start doing that first, Grace. And then decide if this is actually started to pay off or not. Okay, like I said, for me, it was a push that I'm going to get a virtual assistant purely because this is 2006, purely because I did not look at the admin work and the marketing work as worthwhile my time. 2006, my time was worth, I was charging from what I was doing back then, £50 an hour. I was paying a virtual assistant £4 an hour. You do the numbers. Okay? So it all depends on where you are and how do you balance that in your life. Does that make sense?
Yes,
okay?
yes.
But you do need virtual assistants to do marketing and networking and admin work for you. There's absolutely no way if you start and keep doing that you can build a business. The answer is you cannot. Okay?
One last question. When you finish, are you done? Okay. One last question.
No. I'm gonna no. Grace.
Okay. Are you
I'm
no? Sorry.
Questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one last question. Say and this I don't know how it works in reality, but I think I was speaking with somebody a couple of months ago. That was when the idea of the virtual assistant came, and now coincidentally you are saying it. So I'm thinking, oh, maybe this is a good idea. However, another thing that came to into the discussion was if a virtual assistant in the first few months cannot be able to generate you at least their salary or business.
Not their responsibility, Grace, is yours.
Okay, yeah, that is what I want to.
It's your job. It's your job to train them well enough to do 70% performance level of what you do. Okay, so if they are not performing, it's because you are not being a good leader. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Grace, whatever I'm sharing with you, I'm sharing with you the background reality of what I have done in my life. This is not theory. Okay? Okay? This is literally what I have done and I'm still doing as we speak behind the scene. Okay? So at this moment of time, I have 5 virtual assistants. Okay? I've had times when there's been a lot more than that. Okay? My team has gone from 47 at one point in different businesses to 20 to 15 to 17 through multiple and different businesses. Okay? So even right now, my team stacks at about 10. Okay? Are you with me?
Yeah, totally. Okay. Yeah.
So it's for you to balance and then become a good leader to make sure that they are performing. Okay?
That's fine. I understand you now. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go through list as I see on the Zoom. Anara, do you have any questions?
Yes, I have.
Go on.
Everyone is different. That's why I think before anything else, I have to develop my strategy, how I present myself in social media, which channels and which channel will take like the main direction. Yeah, and I think it should also involve your professional interests, and yeah, because everyone is different. I think before doing anything else, just do strategy or how I want to be presented to them.
Yeah, so Anara, this is very simple. Your vibe attracts your tribe. You just have to be yourself.
Okay.
Simple. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now, any
Good.
questions?
Yes.
Nav, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Any questions, buddy?
No, it's fine. I'm just joining.
Kishore, any questions?
Hey, just a couple of questions, Jack.
Yes.
Obviously, we're new to some of these virtual assistants and the systems that we should be using to sort of standardize. So Faisal and I are looking into setting up systems for a few things. You mentioned Zoho. Question is, how do you use Zoho very high level, just so that we can understand how it helps you? And the other one is, you mentioned you have 5 virtual assistants. Now that we understand what you do, can you give us a feel for what these assistants do, so we can think about how we can sort of get a virtual assistant on board in future?
So that's a good question. Okay. So Zoho is an email management or a marketing tool. Okay. All we do with Zoho at this stage is send emails. Okay. So right now, as we speak, one of my virtual assistants is working on setting up a sequence of emails of 179 videos. Now remember, season 1, I'm about to go public with that. So we are creating a sequence of 179 emails that will go over the 179 days in automation. But we have to set them up. Okay, so it's just an email marketing tool, nothing else. It also sends contact, messages as in physical messages, yeah? Okay, so my contact list is 11,000. So another member is working on filtering those contacts, okay, making sure that the numbers are correct and there's +44 and the international numbers are separate and my personal numbers are filtered out. And they are also going on Zoho, so they don't just get an email, they also get a message. Yeah. Okay, because sometimes the emails end up in spam. Okay, so they get messages as well. But email strategy is very simple. If you observe me, I send messages based on value. So if, let's say, I've had some sort of experience at the back of it, I would share my experience. I don't know if you're watching any of the Instagram videos or YouTube channel videos. Maybe do go and watch some of them. There are shorts, there's longer videos, there's shorter videos, there is quotes, there's all sorts, right? Again, like that, you don't have to follow the way I am doing things. You need to sit down and create your own, bring your own personality into it. But it's all about just me bringing value. Okay, but going back to what you asked about Zoho, is just a marketing tool. Okay, and you just need to find your own way within your own personality and the value that you can bring. You need to create that system up. Even if it means you don't send emails or messages as yet, set up the system so you can capture leads. Okay, and learn to nurture those relationships, purely because initially it may sound like, you know, when you look at the penny compounding effect, right? Initially, for the first few months, it feels like, well, it's a waste of time. It's not. When you start to get over a certain limit and that certain level, you start to attract people, and it just doesn't happen over time.
The hockey stick effect, yeah.
Exactly. You have to stay consistent. One of the things I learned from Gary Vee, right, was close your eyes and keep posting for 10 years. And then open your eyes 10 years later. Okay, and then see what's happening now. And then what he meant was, don't expect anything, keep optimizing, and then see results 10 years later. Okay, now 10 years is a very long time. But at the same time, it's our job to keep bringing value on the table. Okay, and going back to your second question, what do the virtual assistants do? One of them is purely publishing content. Second one is working as we speak on the contacts list. It's all marketing activities. The third one is generating leads. The fourth one is generating leads. And the fifth one is just doing networking, just doing networking. Okay. So it's all just all marketing and networking activities. I put it in what I call the business development space, every single one of them.
And how do you do networking with a virtual assistant?
So I just show them how to do it. They'd go on my Facebook profile, they'd go on my LinkedIn profile. On LinkedIn, we send personal messages. So for example, if you have not got a message, I'll be surprised if you haven't got one, but on LinkedIn, you get a message from a team member saying, how are you, Kishore? Tell us a little bit about yourself. What are you working on these days? What are you focused on? Okay. And then they will also publish content on the profile as well as the multiple groups. Same with Facebook. They will go and find people who are looking for challenges. They will write about the company. They'll write about how we can bring value, and they'll keep networking pretty much all day long. Don't overdo it on Facebook. You'll get banned. Okay. Facebook is a little limited, restricted. They will put restrictions if you overdo it. Okay. But
Right.
LinkedIn is still open.
And if do they manage the comments as well, or
Everything. Yeah, everything.
Okay.
Sometimes if they don't know what to reply to a certain person, they would send me a quick WhatsApp message saying, what do you want me to reply to this, sir? And I would very quickly write the message and they copy paste.
Right.
Okay. And this happens probably once every second day. They write and say, well, sir, this guy is asking something, we don't know what to reply. Okay. So I'd very quickly. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Thank you. Yeah.
Any more questions, Ahmed? Do you have any questions?
Yeah. My question is more to do with in terms of the networking, or if you're meeting or you get to a decision maker, or I was thinking about this the other day, like trying to working on the block leads. Now, because a lot of them are going to want to know, okay, what have you been doing? Do you have any experience? Now, I know being part of the PN network, that's a selling point, but
yes,
they might want maybe more specific, or what do you advise? Something more specific. What do you advise in those
yes,
situations?
that's a very good question. Okay, I always say don't use the word I, use the word we, which means that you are bringing me into the picture.
Yeah.
And then alongside me comes not just the experience, but also comes, if I don't have an answer, I will bring another person who can bring the answer, including the expertise on paper. Okay. So when you get to that point and say, well, show me relevant experience or specific experience, by using the word we, I can then give you my experience or go alongside you to present that experience, bring that value, and negotiate the deal. Does that make sense?
Yes, but initially, let's say I'm having a discussion with somebody that is building a blog, for example, and their question is, well, what have you done? What other blogs are you managing,
Yes.
for example?
So I can share that information with you.
Jack, can I answer that question?
Yes, Grace, go ahead.
I've had that experience a couple of weeks ago. And when they asked me that question, what I said to that person is, I can't remember how I put it, but at the end of the day, I said, my job is to find people, and we've got a different department, and I can bring my boss in, and he's going to give you more details about what we've done. And that was how I saved myself there because I didn't know what to say.
Yeah, I won't use the word boss, but yes, everything else sounds like a good answer. Yes.
Okay.
But by all means, ask me for my experience. I think I have it in my inbox. I've kind of created a tree. I can give it to you, and then you can take it and say, this is the person that's my partner, and then I can bring him into the meeting so you can discuss specifics with him. Okay.
So can you send that out?
Yes.
Ask me tomorrow. I'll send it
Group.
across. Yes.
Yes, please. Yeah,
Ask me tomorrow.
that was the
Remember, all of this stuff that I'm talking about, the letters, the experience tree, all of this is in my drive saved somewhere. All I have to do is just dig it out. Okay. And in some cases, maybe even update it, because I might have done it, a few months ago, or like a year ago or so. Okay. So just ask me that. That's a good question. Ahmed, any more questions?
Jack, with regard to virtual assistant, I mean, because obviously we are new and stuff, are they like specialist people you kind of hire, like who already know stuff? Some of it, we might be not in a position to train them because we are learning as well. Is it like?
So everyone has a different way of doing things. I hire based on aptitude. Sorry, I hire based on attitude and hire based on not skills. Don't hire based on skills. Okay. So because skills, I mean, imagine if someone was to learn basic networking or basic marketing, they can go on to Google and get Instagram courses or Facebook courses, or all of these. Most of these are free these days. Okay. So you can hire someone, tell them to become a Facebook expert or YouTube expert, and they can do like a week's course and they'll be skilled. Okay. However, what you can't buy is attitude. So I hire based on that, and I tend to hire freshers because I want young blood. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, you may have a completely different strategy and say, well, I'm going to hire someone who's got a 5 years track record. By all means, you can do that. My experience with that has not been the most positive. I have hired people with experience. They don't quite perform. Not to the level that the salaries that they ask for. Okay, so I'd rather hire a fresher and then train them within the company, and at the same time, I'm not necessarily paying, costing me an arm and a leg. Okay, but like I said, there's no right or wrong strategy. It's what works for you. Okay.
Thanks.
Any more questions? Michael, do you have any questions? You're muted, Michael.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
No, not right now. It's all fairly straightforward to me. Yeah.
Sounds good. Damir, any questions? Anyone, any
No
questions?
questions,
please?
actually. No
Yeah.
questions, Jack, but this would be because I also used, since I know that you had these hotels in Blackpool,
Yeah.
when I'm asked about the references, so I actually mentioned these, that we have like 3-4 hotels, and then I don't know
Yes.
how many blocks, but that would be really useful if you, for example, create a folder on the shared drive, so we can
Yes.
access it, and then we can
I can just share it in the group. I don't have to do that. Like I said, I already have a tree.
Okay.
Yeah, I can just share it in the group. That's not a problem.
Okay, then. No, that's
Yeah,
fine.
just remind me tomorrow and I'll do it. Okay.
Okay, good.
And like I said, I have the letters as well. So you can now access the letters where you don't have to do absolutely anything. You just copy paste the letters and post them. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
But then it's a little bit impractical if you put everything in the group, it is linear. So when you put once, and then after 10 messages, when we message here and there, and then after some time, it is some days.
Yes,
later.
no, but you can always go to the group and then look for files, and it's still there. It doesn't disappear.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can go to
because
the
I-
WhatsApp group and click on media, and from within media, you can click on files, and it will
Okay.
remain there even if you check it 10 years later.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
no worries.
Okay.
No, because I was thinking it's much clearer if we have a group kind of folder.
Damir, I've struggled sharing folders with people. People tend to delete and change.
No,
things.
it's
It
not
just-
necessary.
very
If, for
challenging.
example, when you share this kind of thing, you just put read only, and we just
Yeah,
know the
no, I
information.
know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Look,
Anyway,
it's just
okay.
creating
Oh,
more
well,
work. I'd rather
well,
just share, and then it just stays in the WhatsApp group for anyone to check whenever they like.
okay, no worries. Okay.
All right, now this is first session. I'm going to move on to the second one because that's a lot more